the Oyster Cellar in schizophrenically rainy downtown Seattle. It's the Dinnernet, the official podcast of the Ranch Drive-In. You'll see what we mean soon.
Our guest today is Chef Chachi, formerly of Chachi's Pizza and current chef face for Filson. Welcome, Chachi.
What's up, Chachi?
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How many drinks do we have here total?
I
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got coffee too. 6, 7.
Yeah.
We're laden with drinks. I should mention we're cracking open this Mountain Rose cider from Bauman Cider in Portland that they sent me the other day. Tasting it. Do you guys like it so far?
I think it's great, actually.
It's made with red fleshed apples, so the inside of the apples are red, pink.
Yeah,
I think
delicious.
it's good. Nice and dry.
Yeah, like I'm not usually much of a cider guy, but yeah, I vouch for it.
You turn
Yeah.
into a cider guy when they send you free shit in the mail.
Yeah.
But like if it wasn't good, I probably wouldn't feature it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just wouldn't talk about it.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, it is delicious. It would pair
Thanks,
good with a
Bauman's,
cigarette.
and thanks, Lindsay Dyke at Field Day PR for hooking me up with that.
Hey, how about that? Chachi, how's your week been?
It's been cool. Been working. Been going back and forth with Filson for the final edit for a new video.
Cool.
So it's been super fun. It's the first one I get a host where I got mic'd up, which was the plan a while ago.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
It's the first one where I got to actually host it, which is really fun.
Yeah, so you're finally a face.
Yeah. Well, I've only been a pretty face for a while, but now I can have my voice in it and my personality, which was like what I was looking forward to. But, you know, now we're doing it and it's been getting approved. So we're just looking at the final edits, turning in like the post for the words, the recipes. It's like going back and forth to whoever likes this, doesn't like it. And then, you know, it'll settle probably like in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's cool.
What are the videos about? For people who haven't seen them.
They're just like outdoor cooking videos that
Cool.
then we release like recipes at the end. So essentially my family comes from Chihuahua, Mexico, where they all cooked outdoors on a ranch and then moved to El Paso, Texas, and all cooked outdoors on a ranch. So they were like the ranch hands.
Okay.
So basically they kind of were like, do you want to film that? So we started filming it and I was like, sure, does it pay? And they were like, of course it does. So I was like, I'm in, all right. So
I love
we
things
started
that
doing
pay.
it.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
they're great. So it's all outdoor cooking and just usually like wood fire and outdoor
Yeah.
sceneries and yada yada.
Nice.
It's super nice.
Yeah, really cool production values on
Cool.
them. Like they kind of feel like film shorts, at least the ones I've seen.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
totally.
Face it's like a wrestling term, right?
What do you mean?
Like for a good guy, like that's a face.
I would not know the
Oh,
answer
Sure,
to
I
that.
thought face was like just like a,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it a wrestling term?
It's like the opposite of a heel. So where I was going to go with that, what I was going to go with that is like, is there a chef heel at Filson that is your nemesis?
Dude, probably. Can't say his name though.
Probably.
It's very weird that I would be the one to know a wrestling term
Yeah,
out of
I'm
the,
like, fuck if
out
I
of
know.
the three of
Don't
us.
ask
Like,
me. How rude.
I was like, I barely know this, but I bet these two will pick it up, and that didn't happen.
I was also surprised that you asked such a question. How was your week, Mark?
It was good. It was very busy, and I'm trying to remember what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I did. That was incredible.
Yeah?
I went to a talk that Max Genero, the owner of Hattie's Hat
Okay.
and Smoke Shop and the Sunset Tavern.
And
bunch of-
Pine Tavern also?
Pine Tavern, Owls, like basically your favorite dive bars in town.
Legendary. The old ones.
Yeah. There was a talk put on by Historic Seattle as part of their Preservation Award series, and they gave him an award for community investment. And so he was posted up in the back room at Hattie's talking about the history of that bar,
Okay.
which started out as the Old Home back in 1904. And
The old home, but it was a bar.
yeah,
Okay.
it was
That's
a
a great
bar
bar name.
saloon.
It's not an old folks home.
That's
All right.
a great name.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. He had the original blueprint of the layout.
Oh, man.
And he had it displayed on the wall, and he was talking about how back then the Old Home was actually fancy as fuck because they
Okay.
had a shoe shine station in front, they had a barber in front, they had the first tile floor in Seattle. They had
There's all dirt floors before that. Paper.
They had that Brunswick bar was the top of the line Brunswick bar. It wasn't just any Brunswick. It was
Sure.
like the A #1 Brunswick.
Yeah. It had to come around the horn because they didn't have the
So
canal yet.
He debunked that.
Oh, really?
Actually, he's like, like they always say these Brunswick bars come around the horn, and
Oh, no. I just
they-
said the thing they always say.
I would have said it too
Yeah.
until I saw this talk.
Okay.
But he was saying that they probably had a manufacturing station
Okay.
in the East Coast that they'd probably ship it by
We
train.
have wood here.
Yeah.
We have carpenters.
It was most likely shipped by train.
Okay.
But
Well, that's extremely disappointing. Now I don't like it. Just kidding. I still like it.
But his point was that the Old Home was super fancy, and then in around, I think, 1940 or 50, it transitioned to Malman's, which was an also fancy Swedish restaurant.
Okay.
And only until 1967 did it become Hattie's Hat.
Okay.
And he said, I don't know what happened, but during that ownership, Hattie's became a dive bar, it became a neighborhood bar. And I thought, that's fucking crazy. That would be like if someone bought Canlis in 2013
and turned it into the Sloop.
And then now like we think of Canlis as like this beloved dive bar.
Yeah, it's all dirty.
Wouldn't that be the sickest dive bar ever, though? With
Yeah.
that
I
view?
mean, with that view, for sure.
Karaoke at Canlis.
Sick. They'd probably do something like that. They have
Yeah.
cool events. I feel like they were down to do some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Dive bar night at Canlis.
I heard
Yeah.
that the lights went out one time, and they like didn't want to disappoint people, so they had like lit a bunch of candles, and they bought dicks for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Which is $$100,000 oven, so Yeah.
$400,
Yeah.
please.
I had people hit me up when they opened the executive chef thing there. They're like, "You need to run this place." I was like, "The hell if I did?
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't want me there,
You
dude."
should apply. That'd be funny.
God no.
Canlis,
What do you
Taco
want,
Bell,
pizza?
Papa. Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. I'm like, I put this chalupa together with a tweezer. It's legit. Me and Amy of Darkroom always joke when we do pop-ups together, because she used to help me with Chachi's too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we'd always joke and pull out tweezers or put them in our apron, and then with the burger, I'd put one piece of shreddis on to finish it, and I'd clap, be like, "Take it."
Oh my God. I love it because the tweezer kind of drives me nuts, to be honest.
Yeah, dude. I did fine dining. I've been through all that in my 15-year career,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the tweezer just to me is the signifier of overly precious and overwrought in my, not particularly diplomatic opinion.
I've never used them. I've had them, but I never actually used them. I think I ended up using one to take a splinter out a couple times, but I never like fully used them because I had control with my hands. I worked for a chef in LA, a French chef, and
Yeah.
he was like, hands, like
We
feel it.
have hands. We
Yeah.
have tweezers right
I have
here.
massive ones, so I'm just like, I got it. Don't worry.
That reminds me of that Laurence Olivier line. I think it was like a young method actor he was talking to, and he was asking Laurence Olivier, like, well, how do you get into the moment? He says, I just act, my boy.
Use acting.
That's the sickest
to act.
response.
Anything else this week?
I think that does it for
That's
me.
it.
What did you do?
You worked.
Yeah.
I went to the Seattle Symphony yesterday with Steven. Turns out, if you write a story about the Seattle Symphony gives you tickets to the Seattle Symphony. So we went
imagine
to
that.
go see Gustav Holst's The Planets, which was exciting because it was guest conducted by our new president-elect, the new conductor, Xian Zhang. I think I'm saying that right. She's the first female conductor in the whole history of the Seattle Symphony, which is super exciting.
Oh, fantastic.
Dude, a little late
And the
on
first person
that.
of color. It's
Yeah.
been white. It's been white dudes
A
for
little late on
over
that,
100.
dude.
Yeah, incredibly late. She
kidding.
was very vivacious. She's about 4'10". The sax soloist was standing next to her, but she was up on a podium and they were the same height.
I love it.
She was a little tiny and she's jumping and swooping, and I was just
love it.
entranced. Fun fact about me, I majored in classical piano when I was 19, 20, and I wanted to be a symphony conductor and ran out of money really fast and didn't get a grant, and then ended up being a journalist instead. No regrets, but it's exciting to see
Seems
a
cool to
woman
me, to be
a woman
honest.
conducting the Seattle Symphony in my hometown. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was pumped. I also want to say we watched a lot of the show Severance, which I fucking hated when I first watched it. It was so stressful. Hated all the people. Kept watching it. Say what you want about it. It's good, it's bad. That guy really resembles you, Mark.
Oh, no.
He really, the character of Mark S. quite resembles Mark DJ. I just must comment. He does your facial expressions. It's an actor named Adam Scott, who is beloved,
Adam Scott is awesome.
who a lot of people I think equate with David Tennant, the American David Tennant. He's a good comedic, he's a physical comedian. He does good facial expressions. But he's wearing, I think, a hairpiece, but it quite resembles your haircut.
God damn it.
Sick.
You gotta watch it. He's got Mark energy, and the character's name is literally Mark.
Oh,
Is it
that's
literally
amazing.
Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Get in line, Severance. There's so many people that people tell me I look like. I just sorry, you got to get behind Ben
kept thinking
Gibbard
it.
and that.
You don't look like Ben Gibbard. You just had his glasses and his effect. You look like this man.
Yeah. Someone stopped me on the fucking sidewalk. I had never met them before in the they were just passing by and they were like, "Oh my God, does anyone ever tell you look like Link from this fucking video podcast?" And I was like, "No." Is that a compliment though? And he's like, "No, that guy's great." And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna
check it out.
I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna Google this guy, but he better not look like a fucking goon. And
He does.
he looks like a goon. I mean, like, I'm being really mean right now, but can we just tell me that I look like a hot person for once?
Well, like all of my middle-aged friends have a giant boner for this guy, Adam Scott. So
That's pretty cool.
just FYI.
All right.
He looks like he's wearing a Mark Halloween costume a little bit. Like,
Big boners from Mark Club.
like he
There you
probably
go.
doesn't normally have that look, but he's like, check it out. I'm Mark
All right.
DeJoy. Can
Yeah,
you believe
speaking
it?
of TV shows, I'm interested. What did you guys think about The Bear?
I found it very stressful.
It's fair.
I'm a fraud and have never worked in a kitchen, and I was like, holy shit, I would kill myself if I had to go through
It's
this.
dead on accurate.
And you know, all of our
stress.
friends are like, that's so accurate. I lived that life, and I did not live that life. I lived a gentle life in front of my laptop for most of my life, and I was like,
My
I'm
wife
stressed
saw
out
it.
right now.
She was like, "Oh my god, what is it?" I was like, "The stress part is true." She was like, "Get a new job."
Yeah,
Like,
right,
that was her
exactly.
response. I was like, "Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah.
It's the worst."
Also, weird music on the Bear. Like, they
Yeah.
had a lot of Wilco. I know it's set in Chicago and they're doing Chicago bands, but like, it wasn't appropriate music. It was like smeary folk Wilco background for like a really stressful situation.
God.
And I'm like, you're trying, like, you're reaching on the soundtrack.
They're doing some
But
like Tortoise, some like
absolutely,
gentle.
I do love Wilco,
absolutely
though.
must be a Chicago band no matter what. We're Wilco. We'll just patch that in.
It's funny too because random fact, my friend made, directed, and wrote and shot that show.
Really?
No
Store. Yeah, and
Okay.
I used to cook for him all the time, and he's
Yeah.
like, his sister was the head chef for John and Vinny's, so she's in that whole circle of people. Because I used to work for Chef Ludo Lefebvre and Le Petit Trois, so they're all kind of connected with John and Vinny.
Okay.
So he's been in the industry for like ever, and it was like super cool to like see him continue. Because he made a documentary on Roy Choi, and that was like
Really?
a huge thing. Like he would talk about it every day, and he's like, "This story's crazy." Like it ends up with some crazy, and it never came out. And I was like, "I wonder if it got too crazy."
I want to see that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Because
That's
Roy
my
Choi's a
shit.
man.
Yeah.
No,
Dang.
like, dude, in LA, for how big it is and how many cooks there are,
Yeah.
and no one's ever said something negative in LA about him. I'm like, dude, this guy's got to be like a saint.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah, everyone there always says he's the best. So I'm
Yeah.
like, dude,
Wow.
it's really cool.
Chachi, let's chat about you a little bit. You are from LA.
Yeah, originally from South LA, like 23rd Vermont.
Okay.
We always say it. We're from LA, exactly where.
You have to say which intersection you're from.
Yeah, 23rd Street.
Yeah,
And,
you know the house.
And in seventh grade, we moved to Fontana, also known as Fontucky, which
Okay.
is just like
Huh.
desert.
Where's that?
It's about
What county?
San Bernardino County.
Okay.
All right.
We call it San Bernardino because it's
Yeah,
just shit.
Yeah, it's just desert. It's
just-
huge, right?
it's
It's like an
huge.
enormous county. It's like the size of New York State.
It's
Not
the,
really,
it's
but
the biggest
enormous.
county in the United States.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's massive, and it's just like desert and Hells Angels and truckers, and it's like
There's Hells Angels growing out there.
there's like there's a myth, and I swear there's a rumor of the ultimate meth recipe, and it's hidden out there from a Hell's Angel who like
The
knew he was
best
gonna
flavor.
die. Yeah, right. It's like grape.
Wow.
It's red apple. I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
red
this
flesh,
is
apple,
yeah.
methamphetamines. Love it.
But it's like that's like a rumor out there. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, it's like hidden out there. Yeah. And when I met Sonny Barger in San Francisco, who's like one of the most legendary leaders of the Hells Angels, when I met him, he was like, "Where are you from?" And he already had this oxygen tank. He was kind of gnarly. He's like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Fontana." He was like, "Fontucky." Yeah. And he was all pumped, and he was like, "That's where we're from." I was
Beautiful
like,
place.
yeah. Lots of
Meth grows on
yeah.
trees.
Just pick them.
Let's back up a minute. How did you meet him? Like, what was the scenario of you crossing paths with him?
We worked at a fine dining kitchen together.
He was the dishwasher. No,
He liked tweezers a lot, and
I worked at Blake Art Materials in downtown San Francisco, and his old lady was picking up red yarn to sew these
Okay.
things and our like red thread to sew patches on. Fontana's a huge biker city. Like we got friends with all that stuff, so I knew who he was right away, and I was like, "Whoa, it's Sonny Barger!" And he was like super nice and polite, and his
I
like
love
lady
art.
was nice. Yeah,
I love to make art.
yeah. He was like, "Yeah, she's picking up some of the patches," and I was like, "Sick."
I embroidered them myself.
Yeah, she was like, "I sew them myself." She was all proud. I was like, "Hell yeah, I can't sew worth a shit." So good for you.
So you were in Fontana. This is when you're a kid still?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's seventh grade. I moved to Fontana.
Okay.
And then I went to Vegas when I was like 17, turned 18 out there. I went to all up and down the West Coast, Portland,
Yeah.
San Francisco, Oakland, Santa Cruz.
And you're working in restaurants this whole time?
When I moved to San Francisco is when I started.
Yeah.
I was a dishwasher at a market.
Okay.
And there was posters up of the chefs everywhere in the mall, like with their arms crossed, you know? And I was like, I was so infatuated. I was like, that's fucking sick.
I'm going to
dude.
be one of those
like I want
crossed.
to cross my arms
Get all
too. Yeah.
tatted up.
I'm all
and then-
practicing.
Yeah, you got the tats now.
Yeah, I've got all the tattoos.
You got there.
I went to it was a top floor at the Westfield Mall, which is now closed on Market Street. But there was a chef at the top, and I tried to get in multiple times, and the hostess was like kind of a jerk and was like, he's busy. But I was going at lunchtime, so to be fair, she was probably kind of right. Yeah. But the third time, she goes like, he's busy without like asking. Yeah. So when she walked away to serve a table, I just said, fuck it. And I went past her and I went to the window and I was like really nervous. I was like, my name's Charles Medenzi. All I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to be a chef. And like, he was like, settle down and like come back at like 5. And
nice.
He was like, I'll give you a test. Make these chicken skewers without them being raw. They're like fucking medium rare. I was a dishwasher. I was like, shit. And he was like, you're good. And I was like, all right, sick. And the first kitchen I worked in, I was like the only Mexican. It was all Chinese dudes. Okay. And so my first position was actually the wok. Okay. I secretly can work a wok really well.
That kicks ass.
Nice.
Yeah, and all these dudes were just doing the super sick squat at lunch, and they would carve carrots into like amazing pieces of like eagles and like fish, and I thought they were cool. So they they were just carving beautiful pieces. And the guy who did it, the dishwasher called Chongo, which is like monkey. I don't know why he called him that, but Chongo would make these sick pieces, and he knew I thought they were sick, so he had a forequart full of water, and he would like throw these little things. He thought I would take them home, but they were just. I was like, I want to take home a carrot.
Carrot in a jar.
Like, it's pretty sick. But yeah, it was fun. Like they were the first people who taught me to eat like fish cheeks. We're using everything.
I've still yet to be taught that.
So good.
Have you been taught to eat fish cheeks? I've not learned that.
There's like a pocket of meat there.
Sure,
and I don't know if this is true because I learned this 15 years ago. Yeah. But apparently, like the oil, like there's like an oil gland right there, and it just marinates it. So when you get it, it's like this oyster basically. Yeah. So it was really good though. I remember that.
Yeah. I've definitely had halibut cheeks, but served right. Like I haven't cut them myself or anything like that.
Sure. Yeah, we were just grilling what we had left because I mean back then, right? Kitchens weren't very nice. They weren't like good to you. Like it was dudes out of prison and like people picking on you. I had people like towel at me when I worked at Chateau Marmont in LA for a while. Yeah. It was nuts.
So even at Blick Art Supply and even in these fine dining kitchens, you're still...
I'm just meeting dudes out of prison.
Yeah, prison folk. Setting the tone. So you got here in 2018 in Seattle. Yeah, what brought you to Seattle?
I had moved back from the Bay Area home to take care of my grandmother who was just kind of passing away. We couldn't afford hospice, so it was us. Yep. And I had got a job being a chef for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I was going to stay, and I was supposed to go to be a chef for the Lakers. It's kind of swooped under my feet from the chef. It was pretty scummy. Every time I describe him, I say he's like if Guy Fieri and a used car salesman fucked. He's just like the ultimate like not trustworthy dude. So he kind of stole it from under my feet with someone else. So I was like, I'm going to go check something out. And this guy who worked with us, who was really strange, he was like an old veteran who had like a bunch of PTSD. He moved there from Seattle recently, and he was like, you should go to Seattle. Seattle needs chefs, and like they love you. And I looked at the first job, and I got paid $2,000 to move out here. Nice. So I like put it on an apartment, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just new journey.
Incredible. What was the job? Do you mind saying?
Yeah, I helped open a Lincoln South food hall that was in Bellevue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which like didn't make any sense, right? They wanted to do like farm to table cafeteria, but like when you go to a cafeteria, you don't want farm to table prices, right? So like people would show up and be like, and then at one point they were charging $10 a taco. I was like, this.
Yeah, that's Bellevue for you.
Yeah.
People are just hungry. They're like, I need it.
And I could say it too. I hate Bellevue. I don't like it at all, dude. Every time I go, I feel like I'm like in like Microsoft.
So you ended up here in 2018. How did you get from the Lincoln South Food Hall to doing pop-ups here in Seattle?
There was some in between. I had left Lincoln South. I started to help. I was the sous chef at the Thompson with Chef Derek, running the Nest and the Thompson for a minute, and then
the Nest. Okay,
it was really fun. It was great. We had a few things there where the chef had left, and then it just was up to the sous chef. So it was like your parent leaving. So it was like no rules. It was like the funnest place in the world.
Really?
We did whatever we wanted.
I never heard anyone talk about that place.
We were short, and I was getting in trouble. I was in HR every day for like towel whipping people, and we had like towel whip contest. And I'm really good at towel whipping. I'm like an obsession. Like my towel whips are like if the tip's wet. I could get you really good. So I would get jumped by 3 of the chefs, and we'd fight. And it was great, and I got pulled in once because they said the towel whipping needs to stop. And I said, all right, fair enough. I was waiting for this meeting, and they were like, I was like, who got really upset with the towel whip? And they were like, someone got upset because they weren't involved. And I was like, what? And they were like, I was like, tell me, I'll whip the shit out of them. And they're like, Charles, this isn't the point. And I was like, I will whip the shit out of them. Yeah, when they said my name like that.
Named.
Yeah. I was there for a minute. Yeah. I started my pop-ups when I worked at Bottle House in Madrona. Okay. I had explained to the owner that, he had been there for 10 years. So I was like, him and his wife own it. But I explained to him, you've been there for 10 years. You got to be doing something right. So like, I would love to get some pointers. And COVID hit. nobody had figured out exactly how to cater to COVID people yet, right? Because it became
Right.
like family meals to go and like weird things like that.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't think they were doing too well. And he was like, do you want to try your idea for a restaurant? And it's like, shoot, just go for it.
Yeah.
And I did burgers originally. It was Chachi's Burgers. And we'd sell, I think it was like 200 in like 30 minutes. We would just pumping them out. So it became a thing.
Wow.
And kept going. So from there, Jackie had tried to go because Amber Fouts, the photographer, had went and said she loved
Jackie
it.
Variano at Seattle.
Jackie Variano wanted to go, because Amber Fouts was like, I had it, you got to try this. I ended it, and I had left it, and Jackie found me on Instagram and was like, can I have your burger? And I was like, nope. I was like, this doesn't exist anymore.
Ain't no burger.
She was like, what are you going to do now? And I was like, I think I'm going to try pizza. And she was like, okay, will you call me when that happens? And when I told her, she was my first customer ever. So Jackie came and got one, and she had her kid, and I was like, sorry for cussing. She was like, who cares? She was like, fuck, shit, boner. Like, what? And she like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, dude, I fucking love Jackie.
Yeah,
we
she's
love
so
Jackie.
great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so it started like that. It was pretty fun. I had worked at Stella right before to be a line cook at the hotel. It's the oldest hotel in Seattle, and it's haunted because it was a place where they brought World War II veterans across the sea to help, and they would mostly die in there. It was like it was turned into a hospital.
Whoa.
Okay.
Feels like we should both know this answer,
Yeah.
but like we're
Sorrento.
stumped.
Oh, the
Oh,
Sorrento,
right.
of course. Yes.
And
With the peacock in the lobby.
yeah. And the best part was right before we closed, the owner comes in and he's trumped out like a motherfucker. And he comes
He's
in the
trumped
kitchen.
out?
He's super trumped out. He like lives for him.
He's maggot.
Dude, he comes in the kitchen. He goes, "You want me to close this place? But no fucking flu's closing my place. We're staying open." And everybody in the kitchen's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Fuck those motherfuckers." And he goes to a meeting about the numbers.
Yeah.
And the next day we get pulled into the dining room. They're like, "So we're closing indefinitely."
Oh my
I was like,
God.
"Oh shit." So it started to pop up because what had happened was they had told unemployment that we collectively walked out because we didn't feel safe to work. So by the time I needed unemployment, they were like, well, according to them, you guys left.
Okay.
So since there's a disagreement, you have to wait to go to court. And it was court over the phone, and they said it'd be 6 months. And I was like, well, I got bills coming. So I traded in my car, got a van, and I bought $10 pans at Targets to make pan pizza. And I just started shooting them out. Like, that's all I could do. And that's how it started.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. It's weird.
And you started where?
In my apartment.
Oh,
It
you're
was
just doing it at your house. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it at the lobby of the backyard of my apartment,
Nice.
which took Jackie a while to find out. It was weird. Well, I was covered in groves, and I didn't think about it, like all these like vines, and I was like,
She'll find it. She's a professional.
Yeah, this is what she does for a living.
She knows how to find me.
Yeah, but that's how it started. It was the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Well, I have a question that might transition to our next part, though. I read an article back from 2021, and it was talking about you looking for a brick and mortar spot. And I remembered hearing about that, and of course that didn't materialize. So what happened?
That's I had a lot of offers. So I had an offer to open a Chachi's in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, the Rams Stadium.
Oh, whoa.
I had an offer to open one on the outskirts of that. I had an offer to open one in First Hill, which now is a pizza joint opened by the guy who does Taurus Ox. He offered me that spot originally. I had an offer for a couple places in Woodinville from a guy named Cougar Bill, who's really cool, who helped me out a bunch.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, he's sick. He's super sick. He's such a nice dude.
Sounds like he lives in a cabin in Alaska or
He
something.
should. He might have a cabin in Alaska. And then there were multiple offerings. But basically, I'd hit the reason the pop-up stopped and like the whole brick and mortar thing didn't happen was I'd hit a point where like the only possible way to keep it going while still evolving was to open a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And I had like really thought about it and thought about the numbers. And at that time, inflation was just starting to like kick in. And I was like, I don't think I should do this. Like, I don't think I should. Like, I feel like I'm just never going to see my wife. I'm never going to see anyone again. Maybe if I was single, I would have done it because who cares at that point? But I mean, like, I was like, my life's not just mine anymore.
Right.
I need to like figure it out. And then I had a producer in Los Angeles who's kind of like Rick Rubin.
Okay.
You know who Rick Rubin is?
Yeah,
He's like
absolutely.
the yes or no guy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like the Rick Rubin of stuff rather than music.
Stuff.
And he's helped me with like a ton of things. And he was like, well, I can get you someone who wants to pay for a restaurant easily. I can get you one in Los Angeles, maybe a couple, and you can do whatever you need in Seattle. So like maybe if I franchise it out, maybe I make like a burger joint that like high school kids can work. I can open multiple.
Yeah.
And he was like, what I think you should do is I think you should just get a TV show. So then like a whole thing happened where I almost had a TV show with the people who make Chef's Table.
Okay.
And that was the route I took instead because I was like, that sounds way better.
Okay.
It's like clearly good money.
So you were doing pop-ups in Seattle, and that ended What year?
I'd say it was 2022.
And then what are you doing now?
Now I'm working at Trader Joe's and filming with Filson, doing these like shorts.
So you've got Trader Joe's as your day gig, and then Filson is freelance.
Filson is like freelance, yeah.
But
Filson
ongoing,
happens,
yeah.
and still ongoing. Yeah, new videos coming out soon. Still working with them. It's really fun. It's supposed to originally evolve into like a short show on YouTube.
Okay.
There's another company that did it just like that, and the original guy at Filson I had spoken to was like, "We want to make something just like this show."
Yeah.
It was like it's from a brand called Huckberry. It's a show called Dirt.
Okay.
It's really good. It's a YouTube show, and it's this host from, I believe he's from Seattle, and it's killer. I don't want to, it's not like Parts Unknown, but it's got kind of that vibe of touring, like, fuck, that's delicious.
Sure.
It's got that kind of vibe going on.
Okay.
But
Sure.
this dude's like really polite and nice. It's a really, really good show.
I want to see it.
Yeah. It's food based too. It's about going to like a city, finding the local ingredients, and at the end having a feast with all the people who help you find the ingredients. It's a good show.
I love food-based things.
Totally.
Shall we do the news?
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Although
But
we have a very weird snack to try first. So I hate this snack, and I think it's disgusting, and I wish it didn't exist. I don't know why this was made.
have you had it before?
No, I just
Okay,
I
you're
just
just-
hate that
you're
it
just
is
like-
real. I
can
hate
feel
that
it.
someone decided to do this. So this is from Grocery Outlet. It is a bag that says watermelon on it, innocently. You'd think, oh, is there watermelon? Is there a whole watermelon in this bag? And then you see this little like starburst that says soft and chewy. And then
Soft.
you look at the little bacon window in the back, and it's like desiccated, kippered watermelon with the rind on it. So someone thought it was a good idea to take a watermelon and cut a bunch of triangles and stick them in the beef jerky maker.
Wow. What have we got for the ingredients list?
And then ask people to eat it.
Oh, that's a fair
So,
question.
ingredients. Oh, there's a sticker over it. Watermelon, cane sugar, and sulfur dioxide for freshness.
That's a
I would
I
also
smoke
like to point
cigarettes.
out it is distributed by Food Castle Incorporated
Sick.
out of Vernon, California, which made me laugh. Like, get in the Food Castle.
I love Food Castle.
That's-
We're going kippered watermeloning.
we're about to live like food kings in
Oh,
the
man.
food castle.
This is going to be so disgusting. First of
I mean-
all, like,
I don't know that I want. I mean,
it looks so gross. Look at it.
oh,
It looks like organs.
Oh,
Or
gnarly.
something.
let's show the camera if we can.
It
I
looks
don't-
like organs.
like. Can you see this?
Kidneys.
Oh boy.
Why did someone do this?
I'm surprised I can't smell it.
It looks. Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Smells like
Sulfur.
sulfur dioxide. Yeah.
Every time someone names chemicals, and like someone is trying to recently tell me to not eat Costco chicken, which I had half of one yesterday. I was like, I smoke cigarettes, dude. I'm going 100 on that highway. You can't. Like, I'm fine with this food.
This has seeds in it.
Whoa! It has seeds.
What is wrong
What's
with these
wrong
people?
them?
I hope these are produced
They
off
look
of
like
watermelon.
tiny gummy pizzas.
Yeah. If
Oh,
you're gonna
man.
process that, I can't believe you have to deal with seeds. That's
We
crazy.
don't have to eat this, by the way.
I hope that
No.
these are like ones that won't sell or something. I
I-
hope these are like
I
imperfect
hate
ones.
that these were made.
All right.
It's kind of good.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at this at all. This is sober too. If I was
Why?
high, I'd eat
We've,
the shit out of this bag.
Why?
It's not bad.
The
What?
seeds are lazy though.
Yeah,
That's
the
for sure.
seed, like the seed is annoying. I don't know what to do with
Just
that.
use a different kind of watermelon.
Right.
These are bomb. I like these.
I mean, this could be a good cocktail infusing ingredient. I
It's
think.
so ugly, though. It looks like
It's ugly as fuck.
uterine lining or
Yeah.
something. It's fucking horrible
It
to look
tastes just
at.
like it too.
Tastes just like uterine lining. Dead ringer for uterine lining. And the way that the rind is like a little pizza crust. It's
Yeah.
very, like,
I don't know. It's
unsettling.
I don't love dealing with the seeds at all. I'm confused by them.
It also has that tackiness that Karuna was kind of describing when he talked about peeling apart the wide rice noodles and it to make mi katong when he was a kid. Like, it's got that tacky sugarness.
It's pretty bomb.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
I-
like with this.
They're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not bad to eat, but
They look awful.
I still hate them.
They look awful. When I saw it, I was like, "This is a bummer."
This is disgusting.
I just tried going in and chomping down on the seeds
Yeah.
just to see if
Yeah.
like that's a thing that the process of it.
You did that
made
too?
them- Yeah. I don't recommend it. It's
No.
not. It's not terrible, but it's not as good as unsurprisingly the part without the seed.
Letter grade on Food Castle watermelon.
You know, I want to say C plus.
C+, they're edible.
They're edible and like not like there's a hint of positivity in there.
The texture is better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's got gummy candy texture.
Yeah, it tastes like candy.
And it tastes like fruit, but it,
does.
All
looks
rind.
disgusting and it's bad to touch.
Yeah. I thought it was going to taste like crunch berries. Like, that's sort of like what
that chemical fruit. It's real fruit.
Yeah, it seems all right. Well,
I guess I don't regret bringing it, but I'm sure she's not going to eat it.
I'm also all for it if they're using watermelons that can't sell that might be imperfect to make it.
Yeah, right.
They're even cooler if they're doing that. But it tastes, I'd have it sober. I'd eat the whole bag stone.
yeah.
Either a genius or a villain did this to us. Both. Why not both? Okay, news. Got some news?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Well, I think the first item. Do we want to talk about Restaurant Week?
No.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare to chefs.
I'm not about Seattle Restaurant Week. I don't like to cover it. I don't like to endorse it.
Yeah.
I understand its purpose.
I don't like it.
It's got Groupon energy.
It's like the Black Friday of the restaurant world in a way.
It's just ripping off restaurants. I get the idea is to boost restaurants, but
It's also the most difficult people come out to Restaurant Week from my memory. It's people who like
the deal seekers, right?
you're
Yeah.
like getting a deal already, and they're like, "Well, can I substitute this?" You're like, "Dude, no, dude, get out of here."
I
It's
never
already
learned to
cheap.
read. I'm just going to ask for whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's like the worst. But I mean, I hated Restaurant Week. When it happened, I always thought of a way to call out for the whole week. I was like, I should plan my trip. I
Break
hate
your
it.
leg.
Yeah, I hate it, dude. I remember going out before and being like, I'm going to visit home back then because it's my mom's birthday. It's not her birthday. Her birthday's in October. So I'm like, I got to go home, dude. I'm sorry. I would just leave. I hate dealing with it.
That sounds terrible. All right, well, let's move past that then.
Let's not speak of it.
The first news item we have beyond that is the Greater Good in Ballard has closed. And the Greater Good was a craft cocktail bar that the owners of Underbelly in Pioneer Square opened up on Ballard Avenue, which is where the Noble Fur used to be.
Okay.
And they had a pretty great bar program helmed by Nick Hardigan. They just said on IG, we're closing the Greater Good, but fortunately some interesting possibilities open for us at our other bar, Underbelly in Pioneer Square. So it was a difficult decision to close the doors. Of course, rising costs of basically everything and the continual obstacles that come with juggling small businesses in Seattle has helped us with our decision. Yeah, their last day was March 30th. That's obviously passed already.
I have never been to either of those bars, but I would like to point out that Underbelly had a skeleton found in it when they were excavating the basement and building the bar. And it didn't have a head. And there was a story that it was a sewing girl, which is a euphemism for a prostitute, in late 1800s Pioneer Square.
They used to host a really good pop-up.
Did they?
Oh, yeah, the tacos, right?
Yeah, Dwally Dad. Dwally Dad tacos.
Okay.
Totally.
Super good. They were killer.
It's on my to-do list, I guess. All the more
gone.
reason to support Underbelly.
It's gone. He left. He was like one of those during COVID's like, I'm out of Washington, moving to Texas. So he's in Texas now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Underbelly is a great bar. I highly recommend checking that out. It's one of those cool downstairs type bars. The only drawback is I don't know the accessibility of it, given the stairs, but it's a cool place. And they have live music there, I think, again.
Cool.
Good jazz music.
New bar manager at Rumba. I see Josh Ibanez has left Rumba, and they are naming Taylor Seaprish the new bar manager. She was in Inside Passage, right? She was managing the little bar within a bar.
Yeah, we first crossed paths with her over at Suite 410 and Oliver's, right? She was bartending both places. But yeah, she's a rising star. And I think under Josh Ibanez, Rumba became a really essential craft cocktail bar in this city. I think when they first opened up and for their first several years, they were really a great rum selection place. They had good tacos. Yeah. But when he came in, he turned it into just gorgeous cocktails. Yeah. And
he's got bombastic energy. I wonder where he's going. I know that he is occasionally at the doctor's office, or was.
He was.
Yeah.
I reached out to him and talked to him on Instagram, and he said he's just taking some time off to recalibrate and then just going to see what's next after some rest.
Cool. Can't wait to see where he lands.
Yeah. I hope he stays in town.
Yeah. Speaking of bar managers, I heard a rumor about Dakota Etley, formerly of Sapon. I didn't hear a rumor. He texted me. And he said he's going to start up at Lukas in Belltown.
That kicks ass.
So he's one of the best in the city, I think. And quite young. Like, for his age, he acts as though he's been a grizzled old bartender for 30 years, right? He also does foraging, so he does a lot of his own, a lot of people do their own DIY tinctures and shrubs and things, but I'm just really impressed with his creativity level. So he's going to be at Lukas, which is the old sit and spin spot, 4th and Bell.
Yes.
Yeah. Other side of the cocktail club. Anyway, excited to visit Dakota and see what he's up to down at Lukas.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Lukas to potentially be open more too, because they have been sort of an event space leading up to whenever they open fully, sort of like only a weekend kind of a thing.
Yeah, they've had spotty hours. I believe they're aiming for early May to be like real full-time open. So.
Sick.
Cool.
Rad. Bake Shop in Lower Queen Anne is reopening its Thursday through Saturday evening dessert and wine bar hours.
Cool.
So on Thursday, April 3rd is when they'll be starting up the dessert and bar program and wine program. They'll be serving wine, vegan and not vegan cakes, cookies, and other desserts. They have a vegan cake there that's a rye cake with chocolate and tahini.
Oh,
that
sounds
sounds like really interesting. So
Nice.
I
Love
remember
tahini.
them having a very curated wine selection, like more than I expected.
yeah, for sure.
Cool. What else we got? This is in Tacoma, but Kingfisher and Rye opened in the old Crown Bar space. It's in that glute of restaurants with Gran that just opened, which we'll talk about a little later. It's kitty corner from Field Bar, which is one of my favorites. It's where the table used to be in that area in 6th Avenue in Tacoma. They're doing kind of like merry old England type food, like British food, but like a little more luxurious, like pot pies and
Sounds great.
roast cauliflower.
I'm
And
all for pot pies and meat
and
pies.
they're whiskey focused in the bar menu. Like they don't have a lot of different beers and ciders. So the owners used to own Edison City Ale House, and it was a beer bar, and then they had 100 different beers. In this place, they're doing the same thing but with whiskey and fewer beers and ciders. But it's cute. I went in there and they were doing trivia, and it was a packed house, and they just opened like a week ago, and they're already filling the
Sick.
house. So
I'd love to get drunk and offer a pot pie.
yeah, right?
Sounds great.
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of gravy on their menu.
Oh my God. I'm
They
into
also do
it.
something called a spice bag where they put like fries and mozzarella sticks and deep fryables in a big like paper grocery sack and then put spice mix in it and shake it up, and they bring you the whole bag.
Dude, love it.
And then you
That's
just pour it all
perfect.
over the table, kind of like a low country boil.
They have my respect for that. Anything in a paper bag they serve you like that,
Yeah.
I love
And then
instantly.
anything you dump on the table, I love.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like a
I was
low
dumping on the
country
table
boil.
regardless, so.
Yeah.
Food dumping.
Do you guys remember Pies and Pints over in
Yeah,
Roosevelt? Like, that kind of
absolutely.
reminds me of that sort of
Yeah, similar.
model of just getting booze and a pot pie.
Similar energy.
That kicks ass. Angry Beaver has announced that their menu is now 100% gluten free. And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
They
Bold move.
Since
Yeah,
they-
really.
It's interesting because they reopened as sort of a barbecue spot,
Yeah.
and so their menu was almost entirely gluten free already, just being meat focused, right?
They had sandwiches, I guess. So
Yeah.
they're probably just using different bread for the sandwiches.
I would imagine
Yeah.
so. But yeah, so I think that's notable.
Yeah.
They posted on Instagram, no more gluten drama. So,
Damn, they must have got a lot of eat to just turn the whole place into gluten free.
well, their chef has celiac disease,
Okay.
and
She's like,
let's
I
see.
literally can't work here anymore.
what
Like,
they-
Kind of them.
I will die.
yeah, what they said on that on their Instagram is Chef Emily, who's not just a genius in the kitchen but also our new kitchen manager and proudly rocking celiac disease, has made it her mission to make the Angry Beaver menu 100% gluten free.
And then Amino. There's news about Amino at Bad Bishop.
Yeah, so they are having a pop-up at Bad Bishop. It's a drinks and dinner kind of thing, and tickets are going on sale on April 6th. And if you're not familiar with Amino and Symbiotic cultures, there are basically like a fermentation-heavy drink and food program. So I was looking at the menu, and they have things like fermented potato bread with corn tamari, and green garlic butter, and beef garum solids.
cool. Right
yeah.
on.
21-day dry-aged Wagyu Denver steak with strawberry tamari and dill.
Not mad at that.
It sounds killer. So
Yeah.
the dinner is happening April 21st, but tickets on sale April 6th. So I would say get on that right
Sure.
away.
Into it.
And I don't know, is Bad Bishop kind of a little bit taking over the mantle of Rose Temple in terms of having kick-ass
Maybe.
pop-ups?
Yeah, they're kind of a proving ground lately.
Yeah.
I don't know
Like,
about Bad Bishop. I've never heard of that spot.
it's
It's
just down the street. It's
Oh,
right here on First Avenue,
his
like a
neighborhood
couple
too?
blocks. Yeah, like one
That's
block,
impressive.
2 blocks.
Yeah, it's on Cherry, like First and Cherry.
Okay.
And yeah, they're a bar. They've got a really great smash burger, fries, and a pretty cool craft cocktail menu. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, I think. Yeah, they're closed on Mondays, and lately they've been handing over their kitchen on Monday to people who want to do cool shit, like No Call, No Show, and then
Yeah.
this with Amino and Symbiotic Cultures.
No
That's
Call
cool.
No Show with our guest next week, Matt Packmeyer.
That's right.
Who does cocktails and usually with a chef.
One more last
Yeah.
little bit of news.
Please do.
Pufftown Bake Shop has reopened after a small vacation over at Pike Place Market. They'll be open April 1st. So I think when this episode drops,
Great.
they're reopening. I just wanted to mention that because when they took their vacation, they posted on Instagram that they were kind of nervous to take a vacation right now because things are kind of popping off for them. And they're
Sure.
like, oh, we don't know if it's a good time. I kind of feel like, what if we just cover as a news item
Yeah.
anytime a place that takes a vacation reopens?
Sure.
So like,
Yeah. They're allowed to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep it flowing. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, anyone out there, if you want to take a vacation,
we'll help you.
hit us up and we'll announce when you come back as a news item.
Yeah.
That's great too, because the people who own Pufftown are personal friends of mine.
Oh, are they?
Serena and Dano Duran. And I'll send you the chefs at Thompson Hotel we get in towel fights with.
Oh,
Dano is one of them.
You've whipped them both with your towels.
Dano, not Serena. Yeah. But they're like dreamers and they're going for it.
Yeah.
So like go there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah, their
Let's
stuff
boost
kicks
them
ass.
up now that they're back. Are we going to have a round table or no?
Oh yeah, I guess we should have.
The round table we wanted to have was just why'd you get out of the pop-up game part 2? Because Lakia last week also got out of the pop-up game. And we just wanted to chat with you about like the reasons that drove you out. You touched on it a little bit earlier in the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to her interview. It was cool.
Yeah,
She
okay.
seems rad.
Yeah.
Some of the same reasons. I mean, like, dude, like it's just not reasonable right now to try and make money off these things. Like money's rough. Like beef's gone up like 1,000,000%. Like everything's super expensive. You have these things where you can say and you could post like, if I did a pop-up again, I'd have to raise prices, right? And you got your people who are like, oh, I'll support. But then those same people sometimes just come like just nagging you off about it. So it's something that like they will say they love to support, but as soon as you do it, people get upset.
Yeah.
And it was kind of rough because I don't want to charge that much for a pizza, right? It's kind of a dick move. It's a pizza,
Yeah.
right? It's an immigrant food. It's not supposed to be like, it's like getting tacos for $10 a pop.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous,
Right.
You know? So I hit a point where like I was just chasing to break even, right? And the next possible step was to go for a brick and mortar, and it was just like I just cut the cord. I actually wanted to cut the cord so bad that I took my pizza pans to a recycling scrap center.
That's hardcore.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was getting messages nonstop. Still, they're just like, okay, will you just do my private event? I don't do it anymore, and I kept it in the back of my car because I needed it for the snowy days because it put weight. I drive a massive van. I have a van with like rear wheel drive, and it was about 300 pounds worth of pans. So I kept it in the back and then summer was over, or winter was over and summer was coming, and I was like, now it's just wasting gas because it weighs so much. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna scrap it.
Okay.
Call it a day.
So don't ask
They don't even
Chachi for
exist.
pizza.
Yeah,
You can't have
I might do like wood fire type pizza at some point.
Okay.
That's a lot easier.
But it ain't going to be in a Target pan, so don't ask.
They're gone. Yeah, I
Yeah.
kept like 2 for my house, just for like just for friends who want
Yeah.
it for their birthday.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you
I'll
still
do
cook
that.
pizza at home?
I haven't cooked it since the last pop up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just like over it. I'm just like, I mean, it sounds good to eat. I like eating it too. Everything I make because I think it sounds good to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just so much easier to make a burger or
Yeah.
like I have a pizza stone and I'll maybe make a pizza with that and I'll just slide it onto there. But like
Right.
the whole dough was actually really complicated with the square pans. It had to rise outside of a fridge for about 8 to 9 hours before I could cook it. And that's what gave it like the ciabatta feel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was the only way. And like such a pain in the ass, dude. Because like
Yeah.
if the sun came through the window randomly once, it would just like, if you eat pizza like that, which I've had in this city where it's over fermented,
Yeah.
you're just pooping for like 3
Yeah.
days, just like awful stuff. So like, I don't want to do that to people. You know, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. You think of my name and you think of like bad bowel movements.
Pooping. Yeah.
Yeah, just pooping. That poopy motherfucker.
You said something earlier about a possible pop up with Dave Storm of Buckshot Honey and Local Tide.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Dave and I, it's my fault. I've been lagging on it. I've been pretty busy. We're trying to do a collab together. I'll pop up maybe around like spring or something.
Okay.
I want to do it up at his restaurant because I think it's a beautiful location. I think more people need to get out of the city
Up in
more. and-
Snoqualmie or the new one in Kashmir?
Snoqualmie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cashmere, I think, would be rough.
Even further.
Yeah. That's the whole
that's
thing.
a schlep. Yeah.
I'll do it eventually if he wants to, but I think Snoqualmie's great. I love that part too, and I think like the Seattle's great and all, but like also I feel like nobody ventures outside as much, and outside it's like a Windows wallpaper. It's gorgeous in Washington. Like I see some things and I'm like stop and I'm like holy shit, this looks like a beautiful like National Geographic magazine. So and his area is beautiful, that old town like 100-year-old bank. So we want to do a thing there. We haven't really chatted about it too much, but we're thinking like either like a collab like barbecue burger or maybe like a barbecue plate that we could sell. And then Local Tide I want to do in the summertime, and we've kind of chatted about it, and I want to do things like aguachiles, ceviches, and I want to have the
Great.
windows open and a
Yeah.
DJ. And he hasn't pushed for that part. He said he's open to doing some because Vic's just a great guy
Yeah.
in general.
That's Victor Steinbrook, if anyone doesn't know who
Yeah,
Local Tide.
whose grandfather helped build the Space Needle and saved Pike Place, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep Seattle roots, which I
Totally.
like totally love. I love when a local person is just like taking the reins. So we're supposed to do like a ceviche type party or something like that with his seafood folks with my Mexican background, and we're just gonna kind of go for it. So they both should be pretty fun.
That sounds dope as hell.
There was a post from Spice Walla about some ideas for things the city could do to make things easier for restaurants. Did you guys see that?
No.
I did see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of rough too, that subject, because there's a lot of things I think Seattle could do different too.
Yeah. I guess where I want to go with this is, was there a point that you thought was really resonant?
Yeah, so I think the revenue tax deduction for credit card fees, where he says why pay taxes on money you don't receive, that's completely fucking fair. Why are you like, that's just, for me, I feel like that's just another way someone's getting their hands in some shit they shouldn't get it in. I don't see why you're charged for that. That's crazy. I think if like they're taking it, they should get it, right? Because I think everywhere else in the U.S., you make money, you get taxed, right? I don't see why the companies aren't getting taxed on that. The delivery fee capping like has to happen. Are you kidding me?
Agreed.
Like McDonald's for like $50 for like a quarter pounder, real life story.
Yeah.
Get out of here, dude.
Forget
That's
it.
nuts.
So let's review what these are just so people know. So Spice Walla created 4 different points. Number 1 was programs to subsidize employee benefits like healthcare and transportation. Point number 2 was a payroll tax rebate for employee retention to incentivize keeping employees fully staffed. Number 3 here, the numbers are off. Cap on delivery fees charged by third parties. Cap as percentage of ticket to drive more sales. And then a revenue tax deduction for credit card fees. Why pay taxes on money we don't receive? So yeah, I know that the cap on delivery fees charged by third parties is going to be a knockdown, drag-out war, because getting those companies to even be fair during COVID was, right? And so they're going to basically make all kinds of bad faith things, like putting on their app that, oh, the city of Seattle is charging you this $5 fee, right? It's not the city of Seattle. They don't have to charge that at all, right?
Totally.
It's just pay your employees.
Yeah.
That's literally, that's like the hugest
Literally
thing.
pay
And they
your
don't get
employees.
paid jack shit.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's super sad because you're paying like $50 out the door, and then you got to tip the driver because the driver's not getting anything out of it.
Right.
So it's like a cheap hourly.
Yeah. I was using DoorDash a little bit during the very teeth of the lockdown where like I couldn't go anywhere. But the second they started up with all this kind of like passive aggressive politicization of like adding the Seattle tax and whatever on the app, I was like, fuck this. This is
Like they didn't charge you an arm and a leg anyway. They're like, we didn't want to charge you more than 60.
yeah.
We thought of a new way to charge you money. Yeah. I don't fuck
Ridiculous.
with DoorDash at all, ever.
Yeah, I never liked DoorDash because I've never had a good experience. I used to use Uber Eats a lot. It's the same shit though.
Yeah.
Really. Like when I look at the fees, I'm like, what the hell are these fees?
Yeah.
And it's them. And then there'll be like a little question mark and you tap it and it's like, because of your city. You're like, no, because you don't want to shit the money.
Right.
You're being a dick. Like,
Exactly.
But like also in the end, just go fucking get it.
Yeah.
That's what
Exactly.
that's what I
want
came
to
down
connect with the business owners. I'm also very cheap and I don't want to pay $30 extra for like something that costs $15. But moreover, I want to go into the spot and meet the people and see what it's like and do the experience.
Well, there's
Exactly.
as a chef from that too.
Yeah.
This is back in the day before these mounted fees happened. I remember they charged you 20%. That's your food cost. So off the bat, you're fucked.
Yep.
But you're doing it just to kind of hope to drive a business. It's like a bullying tactic, I think. But
Totally.
I just feel like you're already fucked from the get-go.
Yeah.
So just go to the person's place.
One of the only times I've ever used DoorDash, it was like the height of the pandemic and we saw Indian food on TV and we're like, we got to have it. So we went up there and we picked it up, but we ordered through DoorDash and they gave us a lecture. They were like, hey, if you're just going to order for pickup, just order on our site. Just call us. Call us on the phone and order it. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. Because I don't even order takeout. I just go to the spot.
Yeah.
We don't think about it. Not being the owner.
And they were nice. They weren't rude about it. But I was like, oh, I feel stupid and rude now. So I didn't ever order DoorDash ever again. It's a bad model. And as you say, like the vendors get fucked. And I don't want that to happen.
My wife is like extremely frugal with money. She's really good with it.
Yeah.
And she just gave me the talk that was like, dude, you're spending so much unnecessary.
It's bad for
fucking money.
everyone.
Yeah, she's like,
It's
for
bad for
you.
customers.
She's like, you're
It's bad
even
for
losing the
vendors.
shit.
Yeah.
So like now, if I really want it, I'll fucking just go get it. I'm like, forget it, dude. I'll
You'll
just
do
go
it when
drive
she's not home.
Yeah, dude, I'll do it if maybe we're like too drunk or something. You know?
Yeah.
We're drinking, we don't drive. I'm stoned, I don't drive.
Yeah.
So like if that happens,
Yeah.
you know, my moral compass goes askew and then I start ordering things.
Yeah.
But like we also have Chick-fil-A to walk to, right? But then they have a double moral compass thing. You know what I mean? But we have Taco Bell next door that we love for our drunkies.
That inspired your pop-up, right?
Dude, I love Taco. Yeah. You know, funny part was when my pop-up first started, I was doing it down the street from June Baby.
Okay.
And Eduardo had heard about it. This is pre-cancel.
Yeah.
He had heard about
He
it.
was not yet canceled.
We had no
We
clue.
didn't know. He was still doing the thing. We just didn't know about it
We
yet.
had no clue. And he was he came to he started getting it for family meal.
Okay.
And he came over and he was like, hey, I don't want to diss your pizza, but this is a compliment. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, it tastes like OG Pizza Hut. And I was like, that's great because that's the inspiration.
Yeah.
I grew up with Pizza Hut. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Okay.
And he was like, sick. And I was like, I love all types of fast food. I was like, that's why I look like this. That's why I'm built like a fucking cereal box. I love fast food. And he's like, Sick. Okay, cool. I didn't want to mess it up. And I was like, all right, cool. And actually, fun fact, he was the first person to try and invest in open a Chachi's.
Really?
Oh,
Pre-cancel. Yeah.
Glad you didn't do that.
Dude, well, as soon as the news hit, I was like, God damn it. That was my window. Like, I thought that was it. And I was like, damn it. Because before he did that, I thought he was amazing, right?
Sure,
like,
of course. We all did.
I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like, he really held the torch. And
he was showing that black chefs could own, that they could own their restaurants.
and just kill it, too. It wasn't like
Yep.
just like this passive restaurant.
He was
Murdering
important.
it.
Like, it was a loss for everyone to find out that he was
Totally.
Super
grabbing
disappointing.
asses.
And I was bummed, dude.
Yep.
I was like, fuck. Because he was like,
sucks.
I don't know. When you're ready, you call me because I want to be the first person to invest and I want to put. And I was like, damn, that dude in this city wants to invest in me. I was like flustered. I was like, this is so sick. And he was like acting cool when he met me. There was snow for that pop up and he had a massive truck. And I was like, you mind just blowing through that shit to make road? And he was like, I got it. He was just burning through the road.
Yeah,
and I was
you're
like,
I got connections
this guy's
now.
the coolest. And then it happened. And I was like, fuck. All these texts were like, what's up with your boy? And I was like, fuck, dude, I
That
met
was
him like
Jackie
twice.
too. Jackie did all of that legwork and talked to like
yeah.
all 44 women who made allegations. Yeah. She did so much work on that. Like,
I did a pop
Speaking
up.
of doing your research,
no
she
shit.
did it.
Yeah.
I did a pop up with someone who like was connected with them, and they were like trying to defend him, and I was like, dude, with that many
Jackie
allegations,
spent
you're insane.
months, and like we know her, we
Yeah,
know
yeah,
her
Jackie's the
personally,
shit.
and we know that she did her research. So.
Dude, it's insane.
Someone tried to say, well, you don't know that blah blah blah. I'm like, I know Jackie Variano does her fucking research.
Yeah.
As do I.
And like if Jackie's telling me something,
Yeah.
I fucking Jackie's the
It's
shit.
for real.
I believe it. Yeah, dude, she's such a straight shooter. Love Jackie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't fuck with Jackie Variano.
Yeah,
We'll fight
she's
ya.
the best, dude.
Team Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about what we ate this week?
Time for Thanks I Ate It.
Shall we talk about the Ranch Drive-In in Bothell, Washington?
I think we got to start
I've
there.
never
Chachi.
been, but y'all know something about it.
I love the ranch in Bothell, the
Okay.
burger joint.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone, and look at me, I've gone a lot. I've gone multiple times in a week, a lot of times.
Okay.
And it's piping hot. It's affordable. The portions are big. Like people are nice. Like it's awesome. There's an outdoor seating. There's a little bakery on the corner to get dessert from. This like little Danish spot. But the burgers are killer. And I just get the bacon burger. The onion rings are amazing. The corn dogs.
Okay.
If you don't like corn dogs, you can't come to my
like
birthday
corn
party.
I like corn dogs.
Corn dogs are delicious, dude.
Yeah.
Like everything there is delicious. Everyone's kind. The food's and like, you know, they're not paying me. Like I love this spot.
It's part of your community.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I go and when they're closed, I'm sad. When I go, I'm like, fuck, what else am I supposed to get? I just wanted the ranch. So I love the ranch like crazy. If you haven't had it, it's the move. It's like a classic just burger joint. There's no frills. It's just easy dozer, shreddis, meat, onions. You have to ask for cheese if you want a double, but I mean, the thing is killer.
Yeah.
I
Is it
love the
super
ranch.
old?
It is. It's a family-owned place, and it's been there since the 50s.
And you work there as a
And
teen because Bothell is your hometown, yeah?
That was my first job. My very first job was to work at the Ranch Drive-In.
Cute.
So I was flipping burgers, dropping fries, using the Bonomatic
Sick.
conveyor
Nice.
belt
Yeah.
toaster on
I watch it.
buns.
Yeah.
They still had that thing.
Yeah.
And the thing that's cool about that place is it's so small town and it's so completely, like we always talk about the word authentic, but it's from the 50s, but they didn't do any kind of like 50s-ization of it. You know what I mean? Like there isn't like a fucking 57 Chevy on the logo or,
It's not
something like
Americana.
that. Yeah.
It's not MAGA energy.
It was a Western themed burger joint in the
it has
50s.
like a cow skull.
Yeah,
And it's got like rope.
Nice.
It's still got the Western theme, even though the Western theme like isn't as cool as it was back in the
Sure.
50s, right?
They're like,
did
this
you-
is who we are.
Did
Yeah.
you work it when it had the drive-through across from it? So my friend Dennis, who's a chef I worked with, he was like, yeah, it's called the Ranch Drive-In because across the street, those apartment complexes was a drive-in theater. So what you used to do was go to the drive-through, and as you shot out of the drive-through, you went directly into the movie theater, the drive-in theater.
Uh-huh.
So I know that it was actually like a drive-in theater snack spot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was way before my time. That was just a fucking Safeway when I worked there.
Crazy.
And I knew about the drive-in theater, and it felt very sad to me. As a kid, where like nothing was going on in Bothell, I was like, really, used to have a drive-in theater across the street. I want that back. But yeah, they cooked their burgers to order. They're like Dick's style, but like a little wider.
Way better than Dick's,
And
dude.
Yeah, because
Way
they're
better.
cooked to order.
Okay.
You can get grilled onions there if you ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
I better go there.
Yeah, it's killer. It's just like everything's hot and crispy, and like when you bite into something and it's hot enough to where you're like, and your mouth's like kind of semi-chewing softly, like it's like that. And then when you have like my thing's Dr. Pepper, I don't really fuck with Coke, but I'm a DP kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I have that first sip of that, and I'm just like, ooh, damn, that umami, and I have that like hot burger kind of chewing around, and then I have the drink, and I'm like, like that umami. I fucking
So
love it.
is it consistent for you? Because that was, to me, they're always hiring high school kids. So I've always thought, like, this place is great, but every now and then you'll go and you'll be like, all right, that wasn't as killer as the
child
last time
made
I
my
had
dinner,
it.
yeah.
I've never had it not good. And I've heard people say sometimes that, like, maybe it wasn't piping hot, but I've had to have gone over, like, fuck, dude, probably 100 times now. I've been in Baltimore for 3 years. So, I mean, I've been there a good amount of time, but every time I have it, it's piping fresh. And I mean, a lot of high school kids suck, right? Like, a lot of them are like dicks. All of them are super cool. All of them are very kind and polite, and they're just like, just nice, and it's not weird. They're like, you can tell it's not parents that beat them, where they're just like, yes sir, no sir. They're just like happy. Yeah, and they're like, I'm like sick. So every time I see them, and they're like, every time I see them, I bug them, and I'm like, you should make shirts, because I would rock a ranch shirt so hard. And they're like, we'll get on it, and they just never do it. But I say it every time.
I love it. Yeah, it's always been good every time I've gone.
Yeah.
And that place is still owned by Devin Austin, who just took over ownership when I was in high school. He was like 27, taking over from his dad.
Sick.
And I was like, oh my God. I thought he was old back then, because I was like 16. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what if... But yeah.
When I'm an old 27-year-old, I'll buy my own burger joint.
And here we are.
Yeah. And then of course, like way later in life, I realized how like crazy stressful that must have been for him. Just to be like, you're 27, you're taking over the family business, and you're kind of like trying to wrangle all these high school kids and like get them in line.
Then,
like,
you're 27, you're like a new grandfather. Like
That was the inspiration for all my pop-ups, was like the little joints that have been there forever. Like Philippe's in Los Angeles, Langer's, like Tommy's, like all that. That's how Chachi's came about. I was like, oh, it's always a fucking sick name.
Yeah, it's
Mario's
always
or
somebody's
something.
name. Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just put my name. Fuck it. And like, it's just, those places inspire me. And like, when it came time for the brick and mortar, the only way I saw it possibly working was doing Chachi's Burgers. And if I can make it so simple high schoolers could do it, then I could make it work.
Yep.
But I'm glad I didn't do it. But I mean, but like those places I love. And I like, for a while I was wearing blank t-shirts, and I thought I looked like an asshole, like a cartoon that dressed the same every day, because it was the same color. I didn't want to get anyone black because I looked too fat. So like I started collecting like beef jerky shirts and like deli shirts and like burger shirts, and I started collecting like little small business shirts, and like I want that ranch to be the final. That's like my Infinity Stone ring that like completes it.
Nice. Mark, did you do anything this week?
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of burgers, I got a smash burger from Joe's Bayside Market. Yeah, Joe's with a Z.
Like on the other side of Portage. Is that Portage Bay on the right?
It's sort of a obscure-ish kind of like it's on the other side of East Lake technically, but to me it feels like East Lake just in like
it's Foreman Avenue East.
Latitude. Yeah. But yeah, they used to be Little Lago, I think, before then, and they are doing really great smash burgers. I know that people are saying that smash burgers are played out, but the thing that's funny about that is I feel like there's only like 4 or 5 places in town that even do a smash burger correctly.
Yeah, everyone's calling it a smash burger, and it ain't.
Like people are conflating that with just a burger that's cooked on a flat top, which is a
well, I smashed it when I cooked it, so therefore,
and that's a delicious thing. But let's define the smash burger, right? It's high surface area, so it's a lower weight. It's like 2.5. I mean, 3 ounces tops. I think
Charles is big.
Yeah, I think 3 ounces is a little too much. But you smash the shit out of it, and you get browning across the whole thing.
You want it to be lacy. Yeah.
You want lacy edges.
It's gotta have lace, or else it's not a smash.
But you also don't want all the fucking fat to leak out and render and pour out into the garbage can. You want it in the burger.
It's got to have enough of a fat content to sort of cone fee, and then also retain some of it, so that you aren't getting this dry disc. Right.
Who are the real smash burger spots? Just Smash That Burger Co. That looks like a smash burger.
For sure, absolutely.
Vindictive Wings makes a hell of a smash burger.
I would say theirs is good, but it's too big.
I don't care. It's what? Too much of a delicious smash burger? You think it's bigger than 3 ounces?
We just defined the thing.
Yeah, but I didn't.
LA Smash Burger in Everett has a smash burger going on.
Bad Bishop.
Never heard of that. I'm so blank on it. Did I remember 7 years?
We were just talking about it.
Oh, right. I said I didn't know it then too.
Is it? Let's leave that in. Never heard of it.
Never heard of them.
The Queen Anne Beer Hall still does a good one.
Okay.
And what else? I'm probably forgetting one.
That was the thing.
Farm Boy Bites. They do a great one over in
that guy's really
Future Primitive Brewing in White Center.
Guy's cool.
I stand by Vindictives.
Yeah,
any day of the week. That's my vote.
It's like a burger. I think it's too thick to be like an actual smash burger.
When I ate it, I lost my mind.
I like Smash That. No, you know who I liked and turned out being a dickhead? Burbs.
Yeah, no shit.
I dude, that price. I was like, how the fuck are you pulling that price off? Because there were dirt cheap.
Yeah.
He was
And like it was a trailer by the freeway. I was like, hell yeah, I love this
Yeah.
trailer shit. Like that's my thing. And then
Totally.
Yeah.
and then everything shit.
he
I
was
like, nah.
now it's owned by a different guy named Bersan Gutierrez. Do you know anything else, Mark?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to say about the burger at Joe's that is great is you have an option to put jalapenos on it.
Okay.
And
yeah.
so they aren't pickled either. They slice them and throw them on the grill just a little
Nice.
bit. So you get like actual spicy jalapeno flavor. If you want that, I wanted it. So I
Yeah.
went for it.
That's fair.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I also went over to Lady J in West
Okay.
Seattle. Now, they have a special every now and then that's these crispy Wagyu beef taco supremes.
Oh, nice.
So Chachi, that's right up your alley.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
totally.
total Taco Bell riff. And those kicked ass. They come in threes. And I think the thing that people don't understand about Lady J's, but people always say that they're expensive because they're
Is there
entrees.
high quality?
Well, they're high quality and they come with 3 sides. But like, if you aren't feeling super starving like I wasn't, you can get just the entree there. Like it's
Yeah.
fine, right? I'm not trying to tell people to spend as little money as possible, but just don't be.
You have options at Lady J.
Yeah, you
No.
have options. You can sort of scale it to your hunger level.
And also like save it for home after. I don't think take it to
Yeah.
work the next day.
The sides there are great.
That's part of the thing we were talking about with closing restaurants, what people could do from whose post was it?
Spice Walla.
Spice Walla.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things in Seattle is people are so picky to when price picks up, but they're so disappointed when a place closes.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Surprise,
And-
motherfuckers.
Well, this
yeah.
slow season Seattle has, which is fucking insane. I've never lived in a place that's so big.
Yeah.
It's like 2 months here.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
for
You know how
sure.
scary that is? You got to pay
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
rent. Employees got to make over 25 an hour these days. You got to give insurance. You got to pay for equipment failing. Dude, everything. And like people need to like get over that hump. Like I get
Yeah.
that it's raining, but like we live in this
live
forest
here.
by the sea. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
on you, buddy. Like
Exactly.
It's weird, like, if you're born here, I was born in the rain in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if it's raining. I'll go.
I'll go out there. The only thing
I
that
don't
bothers
hide in
me-
my house, but like a lot of people do. And I don't know if that's because they're from a place that doesn't rain and they just don't feel good when they're in the rain.
Sure.
I don't know.
Get
I don't do
over it.
that.
Get some boots and
Yeah.
buy some Filson.
Yeah.
It'll keep you dry. Like buy some stuff that'll keep you dry and go out and support. Because that slow
Yeah.
period is
100%.
death, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Lady J's also looks I mean, I've been there once. It is really good. But damn, I love their food. Every time I see it, I'm like on there commenting. I'm like, oh, god damn. Every time I see it, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they-
they aren't trying to do a traditional barbecue thing either. And I appreciate that they aren't trying that. Like it's really their own thing. It's really high quality meat that they're smoking and doing their own thing with and not trying to recreate a faraway style.
How much were the tacos?
The tacos by themselves were $17. So the three,
For 3. Okay.
Yeah,
for
for three-
a
Wagyu
piece.
beef.
yeah, 3 Wagyu beef. They were giant too. I mean, like
Dude,
it was a lot of food.
Yeah.
They were like really pleasantly messy too. Like
Okay.
they gave me a knife and fork at first. And I was like, ha, only a sociopath would use a knife and fork for tacos. But then like by the third one, I was like, yeah, I got to use it because I'm like a mess
Sure.
right now. But in the best way.
Sure.
It was
A
fantastic.
delicious mess.
Fucking
You eat
protein.
anything else?
Oh yeah, I had a really great drink at Lady J's.
Okay.
Or Lady J, which was a strawberry Manilow.
Oh,
So-
cute.
So
Adorable.
cute pun. It had tequila Bianco, rose vermouth, and fino sherry, and chiltepin
fuck with
pepper
that.
infused strawberry.
Ooh.
So that flavor was incredible. The strawberry came through in just the right way. Like it wasn't too sweet, but you got it.
Yeah.
And then the spice level was just zingy. Like, it wasn't like it's gonna burn your lips off or anything like that.
Nice.
It's
Cool.
just the right kind of level of spike.
Yeah.
A little angry, you know?
Cool.
Nice.
Great
Classy,
cocktail.
sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you eat, Meg?
I went to Couth Buzzard with Colonel Long and our book agent to wrap up our book proposal. I think we're done this week,
Nice.
finally. And I ate a 1990s ass tuna sandwich, a tuna melt on like bread that your mom would buy. It was just not fancy and it was good. It was solid. It was like
Nice.
an after school tuna melt. I really enjoyed it. That's at Couth Buzzard, which is a bookstore and cafe in Greenwood that's been there forever. They have new owners. They almost went down because they were like a bookstore with coffee, and they were kind of like a community space with lots
Yeah.
of events. And it's kind of weird to point this out, but a lot of elderly people would hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a story when they were about to close. They were worried that they might close because a lot of older people, especially if they're single, just kind of don't get out as much. They don't want to go to bars and get drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And these were places where you could listen to folk music, you could learn a language, and they would have like Spanish language work classes or workshops. you could do art. Like you could hear a lecture about something. And so it was just sort of like an all ages free community spot. So anyway, they were bought by a couple, and now they have a slightly expanded menu, and they're still doing the events and selling books in Greenwood. I ate at Aloha Plates because I missed the train on my way back from the podcast last week, and that's in the Wajimaya food court. So I had like half an hour to kill. I got their K&K plate, which is Kahlua pig and katsu, chicken katsu. It was like $15.75, and it was like a monster meal. A lot of it was rice, to be fair, but like I ate the katsu and I couldn't touch the Kahlua pig or the mac salad. Like it was an enormous amount of food. So
Sounds perfect.
2 meals. Yeah. That's just in the food court at Wajimaya. I went to Gran in Tacoma, which just opened, and it was dope as shit.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
It is the chef from Enrama. I said the table earlier, but it's Enrama.
Okay.
It's the chef from Enrama and a pitmaster who teamed up. I believe one's from Kent and one's from Shoreline. So they're local guys, and one of them grew up in Tacoma, and they are doing soul food with Indian and Caribbean spice profiles. So they're doing things like tandoori ribs. They're doing masala mac and cheese. They're doing smoked beef biryani, things like that. So it's like fusion, mostly Indian stuff mixed with soul food. We stopped by for snacks and drinks. We got a cocktail. So even got a cocktail with charred red bell pepper syrup that was delicious with Rittenhouse rye in it. Nice. I got a gin drink with bay leaf syrup, which actually had a strong flavor to it. It was nice. And then we got the masala mac and cheese, which was great and very cheesy and very gushy and rich, the way you want from a mac and cheese. And we also got the fried chicken skins side, which I don't know of a lot of places that just serve chicken skins.
No.
They gave us a lot of them, and they had fried curry leaf and green onions, and it was very good. It was so good.
Yeah.
Like so rich. I don't know.
Delicious.
That's so indulgent to serve just the skins as a side. So we're definitely going to go back and try the entrees. Yeah. And it's a beautiful spot.
I want to go too. That place sounds so good.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And is that it? That's it. And did Chachi eat anything in Bothell is what I wrote.
In Bothell?
Yeah.
No,
other than the ranch.
I've been having though in Edmonds.
Okay.
Ono Authentic Hawaii Poke.
Great. Yeah.
Killer. Their spicy poke is actually super spicy.
Cool.
Yeah, I think they're on the Eater 38 for best restaurants in the area, period.
Really?
That's pretty sweet. They have pop-ups there too with little, like, we're talking like people that aren't chefs. We're talking like a man and his wife who sells like musubis he makes at home.
Cool.
And he makes this like, he calls it butter. I don't know what it is, but it's like guava butter. There's like mango butter, and he serves them on Ritz crackers. And he's like, "This is how we eat it back on the islands."
Is it butter mochi or just butter?
He calls it like guava butter. I wish I could remember. I was really stoned, but it was delicious. And I took it home, and I got guava butter and like mango butter from him. And he just smeared on a Ritz cracker, and it's like stupid good. Like it's really bad for you, I'm sure.
And we don't know this guy's name. He's just a dude.
I gotta find him. He pops up at Ono Authentic Hawaiian Poke.
Okay. All right. We'll track
sometimes
him
on the weekends, and it's killer. He shows up in like flip flops. I'm like, this is sick.
Legit.
Yeah.
All right. Got any plugs before we wrap it up? Do you write anything this week?
I did, but they're not like really public.
They're not ready yet. Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote about Public Square MAGA shopping site. If anyone wants to yell at me on the internet about how I didn't do my research. You can go read it. I did my research, FYI. And I read about Drumlin.
Oh, right. For the stranger, right?
Yeah. And so I read about the women's work cocktail at Drumlin in my cocktail column, which was on hiatus while the stranger was a little understaffed. And now we're back up to full speed, so that should run probably tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and one last shout out for food. Woodinville.
Yeah.
The Cut Shop.
Cut shop.
Dude, killer.
Barbecue?
Just barbecue, burgers, and it's super affordable. I found out on a date night, you could get a burger each, a slew burger, a happy hour burger each, a drink each, and an appetizer, and it's under $50. And if you're looking for a date night, as someone like me who's trying to save money, it's killer.
I am too.
It's awesome.
This is a very meat-themed episode.
Yeah.
Per your t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Love
this
your
place
t-shirt.
is closed now.
Yeah.
It says PETA, people eating tasty animals.
That's us. That's us. That represents us. Who we got next week, Mark?
I think next week is Matt Packmeyer, right?
Hell yeah. We love Matt Packmeyer.
Bartending legend.
He's the bar manager at LaCoin, and he is also a bartender at the Streamline on Lower Queen Anne, another great crusty old dive bar.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he puts together those no-call, no-show pop-ups that we've been talking about on this podcast.
At Bad Bishop,
Yeah.
It's a great name for a pop-up.
Right?
Right.
Totally.
He's a great guy. He's very animated. Thanks so much, Chachi. This was a
thanks, Chachi.
pretty meaty conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
wide ranging, great.
I'm gonna go watch all your Filson videos.
Thanks. They're pretty short. You'll get through them pretty quick.
Yeah, can't wait to see the one you're hosting.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
I'll show you guys. I have a clip of it.
Cool.
Super secret.
All right. See you guys next week.
Next week, guys.
Bye.